Let's be honest, the tax system can be very complicated, and for that reason, many businesses as well as individuals end up paying more tax than they should because they are not always aware of what expenses they can claim. Last year, data shows that UK businesses overpaid in taxes by £14.2 billion. That's almost $20 billion. And I bet Rachel Reeves would love a repeat of that this year. Now, before retiring from my 9-to-5 investment banking job, I worked with ultra high net worth individuals, families, and companies. And this group of clients often ran companies with in-house teams of accountants, lawyers, and compliance experts, whose job it was to ensure that the beneficial owner or client paid as little tax as possible legally. And so in this video, I'm going to share 11 of the biggest expenses that you should be claiming on your company tax filing. And some of these expenses will apply to you if you are self-employed. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Jumoke and I am an investment banker turned early 9-to-5 retiree. On this channel, I talk about personal finance and all things financial freedom. If that sounds interesting to you, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you do not miss new videos every week. So first off, what is an allowable business expense? An allowable expense, sometimes called a deductible expense, is an expense that you incur wholly, exclusively, and necessarily for the purposes of running your business or earning your income, which you can deduct from your revenues when calculating taxable profit. And this template shows you where these costs would come in on your income statement. And as you can see, these expenses are incorporated before any tax is paid. So essentially, allowable expenses reduce the amount of tax you have to pay because they are taken off of your revenue before any taxation is calculated. The first big allowable expense that you can write off is pensions. As a director, when your company pays directly into your pensions, it's classed as an allowable business expense. And so instead of paying corporation tax on that money, you are putting it into your future via your pensions, which is a great tax efficient strategy. Now, there are two main rules that apply. Number one, the contributions must be wholly and exclusively for business purposes. And number two, the contribution must fall within the annual allowance, which is currently £60,000. Additionally, if you have any staff or employees within your business and you make contributions towards their pension, this is also an amount that you can claim as an expense. And so if you are running a limited company, or indeed if you are self-employed, paying into your pension isn't just smart for retirement, it's also a legitimate way of reducing your tax bill. The next expense that you can claim is salaries and compensation. A business's largest expense, more often than not, is its payroll and employee-related costs. And these include salaries, wages, benefits, bonuses, as well as national insurance contributions. And so if you want to reduce your company's tax bill, pay yourself a salary. Any salaries you pay yourself or your employees is 100% tax deductible. What a lot of savvy small businesses do is that they employ family members to be part of their staff. And as long as those family members have authentic positions and are doing the job, their salaries are 100% tax deductible. But of course, these salaries have to be reasonable, they must be actually paid, and they need to be reported through PAYE to His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, the HMRC. If you have clicked on this video, you are probably running a successful business or perhaps thinking about what businesses you can start. Building a brand or a business comes with a lot of risks that sometimes you cannot anticipate. And the model you choose to use can be the difference between success and failure. And so if you are looking for a sustainable and scalable business that you can start today with no upfront costs, no inventory to worry about, and no logistical hassles, then you definitely may want to consider starting a print-on-demand business with today's sponsor, Printful. Printful is a global print-on-demand company that handles the production, warehousing, and shipping of over 440 print-on-demand products. And the way it works is very simple. To get started, create a free account, choose your products from Printful's vast catalog of exceptional quality items which are completely customizable. Then add your design. Connect your Printful account to your Shopify store or another major e-commerce platform like Etsy, eBay, Wix, Amazon, and lots more. Choose a markup price on your products and publish them for sale. When a customer purchases, Printful will make and ship the order directly to the customer from one of their fulfillment centers. They charge you for the base cost and you keep the profits on the sale. That's it. And all you need to do next is to work on your marketing strategy to ensure that your creativity is seen by the right customers. Printful produces for some of the world's largest brands such as Spotify, CBS, Coca-Cola, NBC, amongst others. And you as a small business owner can get the exact same quality and service with zero upfront costs. I've included a link below so you can get started. The third expense that you can claim is business travel and accommodation. If you travel a lot for business, the good news is that business travel and accommodation can cut your tax bills because these are allowable expenses. And these costs could include train fares, cabs, flights, mileage, hotel accommodation, and even meals whilst you're away on business. I traveled a lot over the years to see clients intercontinentally, and at some point I was traveling to a different continent once or twice a month. And all of the expenses incurred on these business trips were written off for tax purposes. However, you should note that you cannot expense your daily commute into work or that of your employees. The cost has to be wholly and exclusively for the purposes of your business. And so you cannot take a personal holiday, maybe attend a client meeting and expense the entire thing as a business expense. Now, there is something called the duality of purpose rule, and the government applies this very strictly. If a cost is due purpose and you cannot distinguish between the business and the personal side, the entire expense is disallowed. So for example, you book a trip to Singapore and you attend a casual business catch-up whilst you're there. Because the main purpose of that trip is personal and the business aspect happens to be incidental or informal, none of the travel and accommodation costs can be claimed. But if you happen to be in Singapore and you book a separate business trip from Singapore to Malaysia, the cost of traveling from Singapore to Malaysia and then back is allowable. Side note, I actually made that exact same trip about 13 years ago. I went from London to Singapore to Malaysia, Singapore, London. But I digress. And so it's important to ensure that you keep all of your receipts either physically or better still digitally. Next, home office costs. A lot of small business owners and self-employed individuals work from home, and this is to save on overhead costs as well as office space leasing costs. If you work from home, you can claim a portion of your household bills: electricity, gas, council tax, rent, or mortgage interest. And there are 3 ways that you can go about claiming your home office expenses for your limited company. The first way is using the HMRC's flat rate allowance. And for this tax year, this amount is £6 a week or £312 for the entire year if you claim it weekly. The second way is calculating a proportion of your household expenses. If your business use of your home is a little more significant and the costs of working there go beyond the HMRC's flat rate, it might be best to use this method and claim a proportion of your household expenses. And the third way is by setting up a formal rental agreement between yourself and your company. Now, the last 2 methods, of course, require a lot more record keeping, and you should note that this is just a guide as to what you can claim. For tailored advice based on your personal circumstances, I will always recommend speaking to a tax or accounting professional who will ensure that your claims are both accurate and compliant. Next is accounting, professional, and subscription fees. For most businesses, accounting and professional fees are a significant cost of running their businesses, and also ensuring that they stay on the right side of the law and avoid any penalties or fines. And this is where working with a fantastic accountant can make all the difference, because tax law is complicated, and an experienced or excellent accountant will ensure that you have peace of mind that your business is covered on that front. So this category will include things like your accountant's fees, any solicitors, surveyors, and architects, but only for business reasons. While professional and subscription will include things like professional memberships if you need to pay the fees to do your job. For example, for doctors, accountants, lawyers, and some bankers, there are annual fees that you need to pay every year to remain certified. But here, there are 2 conditions to be aware of. Number 1, you cannot claim on life memberships or subscriptions that are paid to organizations that are not approved by the HMRC. And secondly, you cannot claim these amounts if they weren't paid by yourself. So for example, you might be contracting for an employer who decides to pay for these fees on your behalf. Now, if you're wondering whether an organization that you are a member of is approved, you can check out the government's website where they have a list of approved bodies, and I will link this below. Next is insurance. As a business owner, having insurance grants a certain level of peace of mind because you know that if an incident was to occur, your hard work is protected. Insurance policy costs fall under allowable expenses if you can prove that the cover is necessary solely for business purposes. Some popular types of business insurance include professional indemnity insurance, content insurance, public liability insurance, and employer liability insurance. And these can all be claimed as business expenses at the end of your financial year. Number 7, charitable donations. The government allows UK companies to claim tax relief on charitable donations by deducting the value from their profits before taxation. And qualifying donations include money, equipment or trading stock, land, property and company shares, employees, i.e. seconded employees, and sponsorship payments. If you give any of these away as charitable donations, you'll normally be able to claim tax relief on these. Now, having said that, specific rules do apply, and so maintaining accurate records is essential for claiming on these. The 8th expense that you can claim is bank charges and interest. You can claim for business banking and finance, such as bank, overdraft, and credit card charges, interest on bank and business loans, hire purchase interest, lease payments, and alternative finance payments. You cannot, however, claim for loans, overdrafts, or financial arrangement repayments. Next is employee parties and annual events or functions. As an employer, you can spend up to £150 per head, including VAT, on annual functions or events to entertain your staff. Provided that the £150 limit is not exceeded, you can spread this across different functions. For example, you can throw 3 parties that will cost £50 per head at various times over the year. But it's important to note that the £150 is a limit, not an allowance. And so if the costs end up being £151 per head, the entire benefit is taxable. Now, there are a few rules or guidelines to be aware of. The event must be primarily for entertaining staff. It must be open to all staff, and the event mustn't be just for directors unless, of course, all of your employees are directors. So if you employ staff, these Christmas parties and annual events can be a very good way to boost morale around the office, so long as nobody gets drunk or disorderly, but they can be incredible for your taxes as well. Next, marketing and advertising costs. Advertising costs are tax deductible, but entertainment costs are not. You can claim allowable business expenses on costs such as advertising in newspapers as well as directories, Facebook ads as well as social media ads, free samples, website costs, or even software subscriptions like Canva and QuickBooks. However, and this is very important, you cannot claim for entertaining clients, suppliers, and customers. So for example, hotel accommodation, food and drinks, theatre and concert tickets, as well as sporting events. And secondly, you can't claim for event hospitality. So for example, using your company's capital assets, such as a yacht perhaps, or a private jet, for the purposes of entertainment. And also, you can't claim on most gifts. Now, there is a problem where some business owners will claim that taking a potential client or a prospect out for lunch is purely for advertising the business or promoting the business rather than entertainment, and they will try to claim a tax deduction, which unfortunately isn't allowed because tax law is very definite in disallowing entertaining. Despite this, the cost of light refreshments, so teas and biscuits at a business meeting, is tax deductible, except where the motive is hospitality. I know, it's a little bit of a fine line, but that's what the law says. And so if you're unsure as to what your practices would be classed as, you should definitely speak to an accountant. Number 11 is bad debt. Now, this is every business owner's nightmare. You've done the work, you've sent the invoice, and the client never pays. But there is a silver lining here. you can actually write this off as bad debt for tax purposes. So if you have included this invoice in your income for tax purposes, you actually don't have to pay tax on that amount as long as you can prove that it is irrecoverable. And so the key here is that it must be genuine and irrecoverable. So you cannot choose to waive a payment for a friend and write that off as bad debt. You also need to show that you've made reasonable efforts to recover it and it's just a payment that never will be made. And so whilst bad debt is painful for your cash flow, at least you don't have to pay tax on money you'll never see. If this video has been helpful, I will link another video on the different types of income you can earn and why salary income is the worst kind of income you can earn and business or passive income is the best kind of income you can earn. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.